my channel. I'm Veronica with Nurturing Connections Homeschool, where I share resources, tips, and planners to help you connect with what matters most. Now today, I'm just doing a quick curriculum review. We used Science for Little Hearts and Hands by the Good and the Beautiful this year with my second grader, and I thought I'd just share some of our experiences with you along with a flip through and just kind of overview of it all. So what it is a two-part curriculum system. You have the big book of science stories, Fields and Flowers, and then you have the parent guide here. So it's relatively affordable. It's about $40 for both pieces, and it includes everything you need for science for grades kinder through second. So it's something you can do all in one year, or it's something you can break up over those years as you target the different topics. Now, if you look at the table of contents, this is a general overview of the topics that are covered in the curriculum. So it starts off with things like plants. So you have your trees and trees that live and sleep, trees year-round, the tallest trees, tree bark, tree sap, and syrup. Then it goes into mushrooms and moss, wildflowers, seeds, garden flowers, desert plants, plants that eat, parts of a plant, edible plants. And then it goes into insects like your butterflies, your honeybees, your ants, snails and slugs, mosquitoes, beetles, worms, crustaceans, onward to slithery snakes, grasshoppers and crickets, lizards, ladybugs, dragonflies, fireflies, frogs, fish, and water plants. So a number of different topics are covered here, and each one has or follows a very specific structure. So what you'll find in each is an opening activity of some sort. Then you'll see a little blurb to read along with a specific lesson, followed by discussion and an optional activity. So let's go from the beginning. When you look at the opening activities, these can include something like a poem. It could include discussion questions just to spark your child's curiosity and interest in the topic. It could include a demonstration of some sort or a little experience for them to work through in order to better understand that animal, that creature, whatever it is that they're going to learn about. After that opening activity, there is a small blurb for you to read. And again, this is just to give them some background information on that topic and to introduce them to the lesson itself. Now, in The Good and the Beautiful, it switches between video lessons and story lessons. So it uses that living book approach that Charlotte Mason speaks so highly about engaging the child's imagination through the power of story. But it also uses a video piece where they can actually see these things in action, see beautiful photographs and so forth. Now, for each topic, you will get one or the other. So it does not do both for every single topic. And basically, it just rotates between the two. So for example, in lesson 1, there was a movie. And then in lesson 2, there was a story. And then it just continues onward. So the movies are found on the Good and the Beautiful's website. You will need a password in order to access those videos. So it is specific for the people who have purchased this curriculum. The videos tend to be between 3 and 5 minutes long. There is someone speaking and sharing the lesson and the information with the child. And then they also include some videos and some photography in order to bring it all to life. Those videos have been really informative, I will say. We are currently using God Made Animals by Generations for the older kids, and as we've seen some overlap with the topics that are covered here, we've actually just sat everybody down for these videos and have all learned a little something along the way. So there's definitely some great learning in those videos, and again, just seeing that photography and videography in there, it's really helpful for understanding more about these topics. Now, for the stories, those stories are found in the big book of science stories. So these stories share more information on the topic, sometimes through the power of a story itself or just as information, as is the case here with the butterflies. So you'll have some beautiful illustrations, you'll have some labeled diagrams, you'll get information on the life cycle or what they eat or how they live and so forth. Now, in other stories here, you'll have characters, children, other children, who are exploring or observing these animals, like this young boy who is observing the ants. And then, of course, it gives you the information about the ants and so forth. Now, what I do like about The Good and the Beautiful is that they do use diverse characters in their books. So you will have children with different ethnicities, children with different abilities, some in a wheelchair, or in this case, you'll see that this child has a prosthetic leg. So I really like that. I think that a lot of children can relate to these characters and really see themselves represented here in a way that is edifying and just beautiful. They're just beautiful illustrations. So again, you have your stories or you have the video, and each lesson then follows that piece with a discussion section of some sort. So there are discussion questions along with answers there that when they are more specific. Now the questions can be open-ended, like have you ever picked out a Christmas tree for your house? What did it look like? What did it feel like? What did it smell like? Or it can have something very specific that was covered in the movie or the video, such as, do you remember the name of the coating on the conifer needles? What does this coating do for the trees? And then it gives you the answer there. Now, after that, you'll have an optional activity of some sort. And so this could be a hands-on activity. It could be something that they go out to research further. They can go out into the backyard and observe further. So it just gives you some inspiration there that you can choose to do or not do depending on your time and what you have available to you. Now, I will say that The Good and the Beautiful also has another link where you can go and access further activities for specific topics. So those activities could be some more hands-on craft activities, but it is not for every single topic. So what I found that I had to do was after each one, if I wanted something extra, I would go on there to see if it was covered there. If it was, then I'd be able to have another activity to do, and if it wasn't, then I just didn't have that available to me. I didn't like that part too much in the sense that I would have liked either an activity for every single thing or to know which ones had those optional activities or additional activities, I should say, or I would have just liked to have seen it in here so I wasn't looking in 2 or 3 different areas for that information. But of course, it is a homeschool, so I can make it work for myself. If I didn't find an activity there, I could always go look it up online and find something else that I could supplement with. So just some ideas and things to consider. Now, we used it for 2nd grade this year, like I said, and I did use it alongside my older kids for certain parts, like the videos and the stories. What were my general thoughts on it? For us personally, I feel like it was a little too simple for my 2nd grader. Now, she may be unique in the sense that we had already done a ton of reading on a lot of these topics prior to this particular curriculum. We had used My Father's World, God's Creation A to Z, and so we had already studied butterflies, for example. Now, the difference between that approach and this one is that in My Father's World, there were a number of hands-on activities. We bought the caterpillars, we made butterflies, we drew them, we colored, we painted them, we observed them, we released them. And then in My Father's World, there was a huge book list at the back with a number of books on butterflies that we checked out from the library and would come back with our book haul to read through all those books through the course of the week or so. So we had that experience with a lot of these topics, like crickets, I think it was, or grasshoppers and things like that. So we had already done that. We came into this, and when it was just one story, my daughter wanted a little more. She's like, where's more? So I took it upon myself to go through that book list again and get more books from the library. We did the caterpillar thing again because it was so much fun. We added on as much as we wanted to. And so in that particular case, it was great. So we made it work for us. For somebody who's traveling, somebody who doesn't have access to a library or something like that, then this would actually be a lot better because you don't have to worry about getting more books. You don't have to worry about lugging all these books around. You have everything you need here for the entire year of science. So just some things to think about. I have an entire video on how to make a curriculum work for you. And that's something that has been helpful for us because we have found that any curriculum can work for us if we tweak it, if we consider our unique needs, and then just plug in those gaps as needed. So that is my review. That's how we used it. That's how it worked for us. I will say that had we started with this in kindergarten and then gone into my father's world in first grade, then this would have been more than enough. So for a younger child or as an introduction to everything, I really do think this is a great way to introduce them to God's beautiful creation in a way that's gentle and sweet and beautiful. So hope that was helpful. If you've ever used this particular curriculum, I'd like you to just share your experiences below. If you have any further questions, let me know. If you find these types of videos helpful, please give me a thumbs up on your way out. It's an easy way for me to see what is helpful to you and how to best use this space that I have on here. But thanks for watching. I will see you here next time.